Title: The Family Recipe: When Greed Poisoned a Legacy. A treasured family recipe can bind generations together or tear them apart. Today's story is about a family-run restaurant where the pursuit of a quick profit shattered decades of love, loyalty, and trust. Maria and Elena were sisters who grew up in their parents' bustling Italian restaurant, Casa di Romana. For 40 years, their father nurtured this community hub with a secret pasta sauce passed down from their nana. When he retired, he divided ownership between his daughters, Maria, the chef and guardian of the recipe, and Elena, the business manager. Their partnership seemed solid. Maria loved crafting dishes. Elena excelled at accounting and marketing. Together, they modernized the dining area, started a catering service, and even built an online presence featuring cooking classes. As the restaurant thrived, big investors came calling. One day, a gourmet food conglomerate called Savory Corp approached Elena privately. Savory Corp wanted to mass-produce Casa di Romana's signature sauce. They offered a lucrative deal, a 7-figure sum and a position for Elena in their corporate headquarters. The catch? They needed the exact recipe, exclusive rights, and permission to use the family brand. Elena was intrigued. Savory Corp's executives told her that selling would ensure financial security for her family and that they would honor the legacy. Elena rationalized that the restaurant could never compete with supermarket distribution and that Nana would want us to be comfortable. Still, she hesitated to approach Maria because she knew her sister valued tradition over money. Meanwhile, Maria was dealing with her own stress. Rising food costs and a labor shortage were squeezing profit margins. She spent long hours in the kitchen and rarely took days off. She began noticing strange questions from suppliers. Was Casa di Romana switching to a different sauce? Were they prepared to increase production? Maria brushed off these inquiries until one afternoon when she accidentally saw a draft contract on Elena's tablet. It spelled out the sale of their family recipe to Savory Corp, with Elena's signature already on it. Tears welled to Maria's eyes. She confronted Elena, who defended her decision. "We deserve this. Dad worked his whole life and had nothing when he died. This is our chance to secure our future." They promised they'd keep the restaurant open. Maria felt betrayed, not just because of the deal, but because her sister had gone behind her back. The sisters' argument erupted into a kitchen floor showdown. Cooks and servers listened in stunned silence as decades of unspoken resentment spilled out. Maria accused Elena of greed and of dishonoring their parents. Elena shot back that Maria was stuck in the past and incapable of seeing the bigger picture. Ultimately, Maria refused to sign away the recipe. She invoked a clause in their partnership agreement requiring unanimous consent for major decisions. The sisters agreed to take some time apart and revisit the conversation. Why would someone jeopardize a family bond for money? One concept at play here is moral licensing, when people justify unethical behavior because they believe their previous sacrifices entitle them to a reward. Elena had worked tirelessly to keep the business profitable. She saw the big payout as deserved compensation. She convinced herself that she was protecting the family, which made it easier to break trust. Psychologists also note that people are influenced by anchoring and framing. Savory Corp framed the offer as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, anchoring Elena's perception of the sauce's value so high that everything else seemed insignificant. On the other side, Maria's reaction illustrates the power of identity and values. Her sense of self was tied to the restaurant's authenticity. Threatening the recipe felt like erasing her personal history. When values conflict with financial incentives, emotions like betrayal and anger intensify. Family businesses often amplify this dynamic. Researchers call it role entanglement, the blurring of professional and personal roles that makes conflicts feel like personal attacks. Elena wasn't just negotiating a business deal. She was renegotiating her family identity, and Maria saw that as an existential threat. Finally, the situation highlights communication breakdown. By keeping the offer secret, Elena triggered a betrayal of trust. Studies show that secrecy erodes cooperation because it signals selfish motives. Had she approached Maria early, they might have explored compromises, such as licensing a version of the sauce or negotiating better terms. Instead, the secrecy made any discussion of the deal feel poison. In the aftermath, Elena apologized for acting unilaterally. She and Maria sought advice from a family business mediator. Together they devised a new strategy. They would bottle and sell the sauce themselves through local gourmet shops, preserving their standards and control. Elena took a small buyout from the restaurant and pursued her corporate career elsewhere, but she invested in the new sauce venture. Casa di Romana remained independent, and the sisters slowly rebuilt trust through counseling. What can we learn from this story? First, transparency is vital in any partnership, especially when family and business intertwine. Difficult conversations about money and legacy should happen openly, not behind closed doors. Second, recognize when moral licensing is influencing your decisions. Feeling like you deserve something doesn't justify betraying others. Third, when presented with tempting offers, be aware of framing effects. Evaluate them against your core values rather than seductive numbers aloe. If you enjoyed this tale, like and subscribe for more stories about hidden motives, betrayal, and revenge. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever felt torn between tradition and opportunity? Your story can inspire our next episode.